For today's video, I want to show you how to play around the immense healing ultimates in the game. This includes Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, and Luna. I realized yesterday after playing a lot of Rocket that a lot of players have started to use those sort of invincibility ultimates as a huge crutch to have really bad positioning. So I'm going to show you some different examples of how things went wrong and how things went right in other matches. So that being said, I'm going to show you how things went wrong. Now in this moment, my Psylocke dove into the backline and used her ultimate. This triggered both Soul Bond and the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, which is actually a huge advantage for us. Problem is, at this moment in time, we don't have another Cloak and Dagger ultimate to match, and we don't have a Rocket ultimate or anything else to match either. We also don't have anyone capable of killing the Cloak and Dagger. So us fighting inside the Cloak and Dagger ultimate is actually a huge disadvantage to us. What we want to do in this situation is just back up and wait for the ultimate to run out, as well as the Soul Bond, so that way we can re-engage afterwards when they're at a disadvantage.
Scratch my back. You're ready for action.
Here in this situation, I really wanted to help keep my team alive, but the Cloak and Dagger did the right play by ulting all the way to the back line and going straight into Cloak to try and damage me. Now what I'm going to try and do is heal people to hopefully get them out of the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, so that way we can wait this out and re-engage in afterwards. Unfortunately, my team didn't have the same idea, so they stayed inside of the ultimate, and of course we ended up losing this exchange. Here we're going to watch from the tank's perspective. Now the moment that Psylocke dove in there and triggered that ultimate, that was an immediate win for our team. We even got out the Soul Bond, which is a huge added bonus. In this situation, if you don't have a plan to deal with the Cloak and Dagger herself, then you need to back out and give up space temporarily and then re-engage in afterwards. And instead, my Doctor Strange stays way too long and ends up dying to the enemy team. The only situation in which he lives in that exchange is if he has another support ultimate to counteract what just happened. When realistically, we had won the exchange the moment that Psylocke had dove in and used her ultimate, but all we had to do was back out and give up space temporarily before re-engaging back in on the enemy team. Now I'm going to go show you a couple of examples from another game where things went much better. Here in another game, you're going to see that we went on offense first and we didn't even push it to cap the very first point, but we still managed to hold it during the entire time, and I'm going to show you how my team masterfully handled that situation despite the fact that we have a Rocket and Cloak and Dagger and they have an Invisible Woman and a Cloak and Dagger. Two essentially invincibility ultimates to our one.
Judge, jury.
Now the moment that we hear the Punisher ult, we need to get out of there, because not only do we not have a Cloak and Dagger ultimate to match it, but Rocket's ultimate is just going to get melted by his ultimate, so it wouldn't be worth putting down. So what we want to do is just try and back out of the situation, so that way we can let his ultimate run out before re-engaging again. You can see here they even use the Invisible Woman ultimate as well on top of that. And unfortunately, we lost our Emma, but it's okay because of the fact that one person for two ultimates isn't so bad. There's still time for us to stall it out, especially with how close I am to my ult. You can see me backing out of the situation farther until I know it's safe before I re-engage back in to stall the convoy. Here in this situation, because our Emma died, I'm using my ultimate to buy time for her to come back and regroup with our team. You can see how even though there's a bunch of people on the enemy team trying to push the convoy, they can't do it as long as I am touching it. And even though there's no way for me to get any kills here, it's okay because I'm not after kills, I'm just after time. Here in this situation, I can't do much to follow up on the Eye of Agamotto my team got hit by, so Rocket using his ultimate as a defensive is a good idea in this situation. And my job in this situation is just to try and keep the Punisher from attacking my team, but also keep the convoy from moving. And you can see here how even though that we had lost one, we still managed to hold the convoy down and push them back afterwards because of the fact that we had only lost one in the exchange and we bought enough time for them to come back. Here we fast forward a little bit and now you're going to see the enemy team has 2 support ultimates and we only have the 1. Emma ults the enemy team, which triggers the enemy support to trigger her ultimate, and then triggers my cloak and dagger to hit her ultimate immediately afterwards, basically canceling the two out. During this moment in time, because of the fact that both support ultimates will cancel each other out by essentially standing on them, it's a good opportunity that if you don't have your ultimate fully charged yourself, to start attacking the enemy during this situation, because not only will it charge your ultimate, but because the healing is coming directly from an ultimate itself, it's not going to give them any ult charge as well. Once it gets too dangerous, I'm immediately out of the situation. My priority on defense is just to survive, and I only really need to eliminate the enemy once the clock runs out.
Judge, jury,
You can see here that Punisher had ulted my team again, and once again, we don't have a Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, or Luna ultimate to match this. So instead, during this moment, the Thing player had said, kite back, and all of us pulled back and get out of the LOS of the Punisher ult.
executioner!
As we go to utilize cover, Wolverine is going around the other way to try and take advantage of the fact that we're all clumped up here. Luckily, it didn't work, and now that the Punisher ultimate is about to run out, now we can re-engage again to go back to stalling the convoy.
I'll be shipshape in no time. Careful, we got a robot infestation.
Because we were able to back out of the situation, which we didn't have any sort of chance of winning, we were able to buy ourselves just enough time so that our rocket ultimate ends up being ultimately our win condition. Even though Punisher and Invis Woman both used their ultimates to try and secure kills, it ultimately didn't help them because we were able to back up from the incoming damage and just kite it back. If you're not going to directly match with a counter of some kind, you need to back up and give up space temporarily and then go back in when it's safer. Because of this really great kiting in this game and our really great positioning as a team, we ended up fully holding a game that we thought for sure was lost. And even though we had a rocket on our team and a cloak and dagger versus two invincibility ultimates, we still ended up winning. Those immense healing ultimates really only work if you stay in the area and you fight when it's not safe. It's okay to back up and give up space for a little bit if you can take a safer fight 8 to 10 seconds later. Now I'm going to show you a situation where the DPS mishandles the situation, and I'll show you what you should be doing instead.
The moon haunts you!
Here, Invis Woman ends up casting her ultimate along with Moon Knight at the same time. The Moon Knight ultimate splits us up and leaves my DPS on the other side of the wall. You're going to see in this situation that as Invis Woman ult goes up, you see Star-Lord taking correct positioning behind cover. What you see Spirit here doing wrong is that he is pumping damage into the entire Invisible Woman ultimate, not utilizing cover. And in this moment, it's even sillier because of the fact that he has full ult charge. So not only is he not doing anything to anyone in there, he's not even charging his ultimate. There's really no reason to put yourself at this sort of risk. When an enemy support ultimate goes off, if you don't have one to counter it or you don't have a way to shut it down, the best thing for you to do is use this downtime to reposition for where you want to be when the ultimate ends. Here's one of my games from Celestial, and you're going to see from my perspective as a DPS player being in a very similar situation. My first instinct as Psylocke before using any sort of ultimate is to target the Loki and pull out the totems first. I try to take the time to eliminate the clones as fast as possible because of the fact that Loki's healing is very strong if there's 3 clones, and it's not very strong if it's just him.
I am ready to put on a show!
Here, Luna ends up casting her ultimate, and during this time, I have no answer for that. So I don't want to go in and risk dying, and I also don't want to take resources like healing away from someone else that might need it. What I want to do is use this as an opportunity to reposition and where I want to be when the ultimate eventually runs out. It's also an excellent time to destroy things like clones, res stations, or squids. You can see me here getting to safely and now setting up for when the ultimate eventually runs out.
Bring on the chaos!
The moment I'm getting ready to dash in and use my ultimate, Strange already has the same idea and uses his ultimate, so now I'm just going to follow up on his play. In sort of a very similar situation, now that Mag has used his ultimate and I wasn't able to shoot, I decided to then use that time to reposition myself and get ready for my ultimate. Because I was so patient with my ultimate, not only was I able to pick the Luna, but I was able to also separate the Loki and put him into a bad position, which made it easy to clean up. All too frequently, I see people fighting within the support ultimates. And if you aren't specifically able to target the caster and kill them, then really what you should be doing is preparing for what you want to do when the ultimate runs out. Yes, you can use that as a time to charge your own ultimate, but if it's already charged and you can't do anything to kill anyone within the ultimate, you should ultimately be trying to set up for what's going to happen when it ends. You don't always need to answer one invincibility ultimate with another. Ultimates should be used for a variety of things, such as holding down the objective or using it to secure kills. If an enemy team mistimes their support ultimates and you're able to back up and give up enough space to survive said ultimate, then that was a waste on their end. It's much easier to take a fight after it ends than trying to fight through it. This is a common mistake I still see even in Celestial, so I'm hoping by putting this out there, it makes your games a lot easier instead of feeling like your team has to have a Luna or Cloak and Dagger or Invisible Woman. By positioning well and kiting back, you're able to make these ultimates completely useless, especially if you know that they're coming. Anyway, that's all I got for today, and I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments